Welcome everyone to our joint event with Raising the Vibe. I'm Robert Novak, and this is normally the date that we do Social Chrysalis Roundtable, and which is the third Wednesday of every month, right? So we are very glad to be here with you here this time, and we're so grateful that Rebecca of Raising the Vibe has invited us to join her in this joint event. She actually set this event up with the speakers tonight to talk about their book, The Trust Frequency and Dance with the Souls. And then since Rebecca and the speakers tonight are part of Social Chrysalis, then she decided, well, we should just do it all together. So we're extremely grateful that she did that. Now, just so you know, Social Chrysalis is a learning and discovery platform created for awakening individuals who want to co-create a better world, which is wonderful, right? And our courses and events provide you with the wisdom and tools you need to both embody and express your highest potential for total success in your life and work now. And at Social Chrysalis, we envision a world where conscious evolution is a mainstream concept. Simply stated, conscious evolution is evolution by choice, not by chance. And it was inspired by the vision and legendary futurist Barbara Marx Hubbard, who our speakers tonight knew very well. So that'll be very, wonderful to have them, connect with her and share even some stuff about Barbara. But we're extremely happy to spend this time with you tonight because it is about conscious evolution. And as we connect tonight, the greatest thing is that we're sharing in wisdom, sharing in love, sharing and changing this, world, this frequency, right, of this world. So in saying that, tonight, as we, work with everyone, we're going to want to make sure that you have an opportunity to ask questions. So we want you to use the Q&A versus the chat. So the Q&A I can monitor a little bit easier and make sure the the speakers know specifically different questions, and that would be great. And of course, if you wish to ask questions directly, we'll bring you in and you can be on video and ask them questions and talk to them directly as well. And of course, I'll be monitoring the Facebook Live as well. So if you have any comments there, by all means, look at that perspective as well. But from here, right now, I'll turn you over to the beautiful Rebecca to lead you and just, talk about raising the vibe. All right, Rebecca.
Okay. Thank you, Robert. Hi, I'm Rebecca Paris-Becker. I am founder and executive director of Raising the Vibe. We are a completely volunteer-run 501c3 nonprofit with the goal of supporting the growth of conscious communities. We offer monthly Zoom meetings that are free of charge with different speakers like Connie and Andrew, and we've had different things like your health and 5G, the Enneagram, human design, just to name a few. And we will do books 4 times a year. And so it was a great opportunity to have the authors. We also had Jill Blakeway with energy medicine. So it's perfect to have people read the book, and then we have the authors to facilitate the conversation. So Raising the Vibe really focuses on 3 areas, which are self-actualization tools, holistic healing, and conscious community practices. We are a community where we can network with other heart-centered individuals to support the planetary awakening. So please check us out at raisingthevibe.org. And again, we'd appreciate any donations or your membership to make sure we can keep providing this free service to everyone. So it's my pleasure to introduce Andrew Cameron Bailey and Connie Baxter Marlow. We met a year ago, thank you, with Social Chrysalis. It was just a year that we launched this platform, and just honored to get to know this wonderful group of co-creators on this platform. And this, as Robert said, this platform is inspired by Barbara Marx Hubbard, and Connie and Andrew have a special relationship as they're at Sunrise Ranch, where Barbara was until her last days, and they have a wonderful personal relationship with this wonderful futurist and innovator, Barbara Marx Hubbard. They have a program on Social Chrysalis called The Dance of Souls, the Relationship Revolution. And they're tying that course in with their book, The Trust Frequency. And they also have a documentary film, In Search of the Future, What Do the Wise Ones Know? And that's just in a companion piece to the Trust Frequency. Connie and Andrew are authors, visionary filmmakers, futurists, and paradigm shifters. They apply the Trust Frequency paradigm to the evolutionary aspect of in all relationships in their life. And then Andrew's got a specific goal of climate restoration project. And he's got many things going in that regard, so he can tell you a little bit about that. But just so honored to have you guys here with us. And they're going to do a presentation for about an hour with some slideshow, like a PowerPoint, and then we're going to go straight to your questions. So again, so honored to have a Social Chrysalis Raising the Vibe event, and Connie and Andrew. So you can take it away. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Rebecca and Robert. It's so wonderful to be here, and it's so great to combine this Raising the Vibe and Social Chrysalis platforms so we can do a synergy synthesis thing, which is what it's all about in these times, is coming together and seeing what wants to come forth from us all bringing our gifts. So we're thrilled, and thank you so, so much.
Yeah, and I'm Andrew. I think we know that already, don't we? At least I think I know that. And I just want to invoke the spirit of Barbara Marx Hubbard, who has many a time sat right where we are sitting. We are in the studio, in the media studio at Sunrise Ranch right now. And she was here many a time. And right now she's up here with us in the Butterfly Nebula. As you can see, we're beaming into you from distant, conscious, beautiful, loving, universal spirit. And we just welcome the spirit of Barbara to come through us here and keep on with the work that we are all collectively doing together, whether or not we're on this side of the veil or the other side of the veil.
And I would just say, in honor of Barbara, I was the last one with her before she went into the coma from which she didn't emerge. And right before that, she was sharp as a tack, full of life, looking forward to her recovery from her knee inflammation. And she said to me, Connie, we have to work together on the trust frequency. So here we are with Barbara working together. Because we were very complementary in our vision and our knowledge and our knowing. So yes, Barbara.
Yeah, thank you, Barbara.
Carry on. So thank you so much. And now what we're going to do is we're going to share some slides and some information on the nature of the universe. Okay, some core assumptions about the nature of the universe that we've seen through indigenous cosmology and quantum science. It's a synthesis of the two. It's neither one or the other, it's both. And so we're going to give you lots of information here, and then we're going to apply it to our relationships as we do this dance of souls, so that we get some insight into our place in the universe, the human's place in the universe, so that we can understand how the universe works, apply it to our lives and our relationships, and go forward into a higher frequency where there's more abundance, balance, beauty, joy, and abundance. Did I say abundance already? Then we can fathom.
Say it as often as you like.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a whole new world where we're going to take you tonight.
So it's physics, it's metaphysics, and then it's how do we apply these principles in our day-to-day lives? How do we understand, for example, tonight's presentation here is very specifically about relationships. And why do these spirits, us, come to this planet and meet other individuals and very often fall in love with them, and then very often find ourselves in conflict with them, or various multiplicity of paths and relationships can take. And very often we end up not being very fond of those we were once in love with. But once we understand the purpose of relationships, it's an opportunity. We are mirrors for each other. We are actually here as much as anything to teach each other about ourselves.
Exactly. And it's relationship with ourselves primarily was what this is all about, and relationships with our loved ones and the universe, circumstance. So we're going to shed some light on all that. And right now we'll share our screen and we will,
There you go.
should I do this one or
This
that
one,
one?
I think.
Well, I think
Try that.
do this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Okay.
And
Dancing the dance of souls in the trust frequency.
yes,
That
yes,
sounds
yes.
like fun. Is it fun?
Yeah, it's not
You know,
always so
sometimes
much
it's-
fun.
Sometimes it's
Yeah,
hard.
it's hard work. So
Yeah.
be
And yet
prepared.
the rewards are extraordinary. Okay.
Okay,
Why is
so
it
why
there?
isn't it shifting?
Try that.
Okay, here we go.
There
Okay,
we go. Are
Yep,
you
yep,
ready
yep.
to move beyond duality?
yeah. So we're going to take you on a ride, a big ride, and that is beyond duality, beyond right and wrong, beyond victim perpetrator, beyond good and evil. Are you ready for it? Well, part of you might be and part of you might not be, but until we make this shift, we don't get out of this reality into a higher frequency. So it's very key, but it's a huge leap. And Rumi said,
Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense.
so let's go to that grass, shall we? What? Oh, I know. So let's see. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
And here we are. It's a conscious, loving universe. What do you think of that?
So I'm a science guy, and I have a bunch of degrees in physics and chemistry and mathematics and things like that. And I was not taught in college or high school or in the world in general that we live in a conscious, loving universe. In fact, I was raised in the mechanical, mechanistic, reductionist paradigm that came to us from Newton and Descartes and Darwin. And so I grew up believing that the universe was like a giant mechanism, a giant clockwork machine that didn't even know I exist. Now, what if? That's completely 100% wrong, erroneous. What if we actually live in a conscious, loving universe?
And it's all love. And we're going to show you a construct on the nature of the universe, give you some assumptions that's going to help you understand that it's all love. And
Assumptions?
some assumptions, new
Somebody said you're
assumptions.
not supposed to make assumptions.
Oh, yeah.
But we all make assumptions, but some of the assumptions we make, we actually inherited from our forebears. By the age of 5 years old, in my case, I had learned all of these things that I've subsequently kind of tossed out. I've realized that, wait a minute, I didn't make that up. I just heard it. My dad told me, whatever it was. So we're going to suggest an alternative set of assumptions, fundamental assumptions about the nature of reality that taken together create a whole other paradigm, a completely different, higher vibration worldview.
Yeah. And we have a ebook, The Conscious Loving Universe, a guidebook. So you can get that on our website, thetrustfrequency.net.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Try
So
that. Price is right.
Yeah. And we'll
It's
boy, I'm
it's bunking on us.
yeah.
Use that.
And so here is our manifesto. And we are going to play this for you so you get a sense of the overall aspects of this reality that we're describing.
Welcome to the conscious, loving universe.
The conscious, loving, abundant universe.
Humanity is on the cusp of an evolutionary quantum leap. We are moving from Homo sapiens to what I like to call humanity 2.0. Cutting-edge science is affirming what indigenous cosmology, Western mysticism, and the ancient Vedic wisdom of India have said for thousands of years. We exist as part of an interconnected universe of boundless energy and intelligence. You can call it the field or the force. Some people call it God. Science calls it the quantum vacuum. Whatever you choose to call it, we propose that the omnipresent universal field of energy and intelligence is in fact love. Love with a capital L. Needless to say, science is not quite ready to talk about love. But the truth of the matter is this.
There is only love. Love with a capital L. The entire universe is made up of love. However, love is not what most people think it is. In fact, love is the primordial power of the universe that creates and sustains all things. The love of the universe is a scientific fact. It's a quantum physics phenomenon. And guess what? This love is unconditional. It gives us everything we ask for. The big question is, what are our requests?
Our requests are our consciousness. We create reality with the power of our consciousness. It's all vibration. It's all frequency. It's physics. It's literally the mechanism that creates our reality individually and collectively. Not everybody knows that.
There are 7 aspects of human consciousness that determine our vibratory state, our frequency, and they all begin with the letter A. Here they are in one sentence. With expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams.
Change your assumptions and the world changes with you. Our assumptions are the lens through which we see the world and are foundational to creating our reality. Our assumptions literally determine our frequency, and our frequency determines our reality.
Every frequency has its own laws. The laws are expanded in the higher frequencies. The earth is moving into a higher frequency, and we have work to do to keep up with her. The systems that were created in the lower frequencies of fear, scarcity, and separation are breaking down, and we're moving into a level of consciousness where ease, grace, generosity, and abundance are the natural order of things. There's a party going on, and we're all invited. We just gave directions to the party. I'll see you there.
Think of it this way. We are roving sensory organs of the divine.
We are the consciousness of unconditional love coming to understand itself.
Trust the loving universe.
Trust the conscious, loving, abundant universe. We are the conscious, loving universe.
Keep your vibrational field high. Keep your heart open. Stay in the trust frequency. It changes everything.
Thank you.
So, okay, now we want to move it on. There we
There
go.
we go. Oh, next one.
Okay.
There we are.
So there you have it in a nutshell. And we'll just be kind of going over some of that. And so we can go deeper with it. And this is our book, The Trust Frequency, 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm. And there's Coco Pelli equals MC squared.
So welcome to the new mathematics. Coco Pelli, many of you know, but some of you might not, that image is the symbol of, from the Southwestern United States, of a figure who may or may not have been a real person, but we were in search of a symbol that would represent all of indigenous wisdom globally. And we chose Coco Pelli. And then, of course, MC squared is from the famous Einstein equation. So this is about the equivalence of everything that the Earth people, the indigenous people, know and remember and have learned. And science, the whole of science, there's a beautiful, perfect balance there.
So as you heard, change your assumptions and the world changes with you. And we'll go into a few assumptions. Here's a new equation.
Not more mathematics.
More mathematics. QR plus IC equals CLU.
What?
Quantum reality plus indigenous cosmology equals the conscious loving universe.
Oh, I get it.
So we're going to ask you to take some assumptions as absolutely true. Okay, we're not saying they are absolutely true, but to have this work in your lives, one must take this as absolutely true. And you can just take what resonates for you afterwards. But for this exercise, just take yourself into that place that, okay, this is absolutely true. Okay.
So it's an alternative reality with some assumptions and some rules and some terminology. So we're going to tell you what we mean by certain words that we use, because if you go to certain of our languaging in the dictionary, you will not find what we're talking about. So
here are some definitions.
yeah.
Okay. So assumption, a fundamental belief which we take to be true without question.
And a paradigm is a set of agreed upon assumptions which together create a consensus reality.
And circumstance is the seemingly uncontrollable outward events that influence our decisions. And here's a big one, okay? Humanity, a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who have chosen to incarnate on earth to learn and grow on their soul's journey to wholeness, which is the journey to self-love and self-acceptance that we are going to be addressing in this talk tonight, each with an individual purpose and a unique gift. So this one is very important, and we'll come back to it as a reminder as we go forward.
And as I said, if you go to the dictionary and look up humanity or frequency, you will not find these definitions. So when we use the word frequency, for example, we don't mean that thing that's measured in hertz and megahertz and so on. What we do mean is that frequency is the vibratory state that determines the characteristics of a particular reality. There is a wide range of frequencies, each with its own reality and its own distinct laws.
That's something unique that we're bringing forth. Not everybody's saying that. That's not, but Nassim Haramein has given us some insights into that when he says in the higher frequencies, there's more information. So we've gotten it from a unified physics person, an important person in this field of evolving science. And then this is another key one.
Free will. Free will is the inalienable right and ability to choose one's frequency and to co-create one's reality.
Yes. And consciousness.
Two different kinds of consciousness that we can detect, shall we say, that we're aware of. One would be universal consciousness, the omnipresent life energy of the universe. But what we experience every breath of our lives is something we could call human consciousness. And this breaks down into, and you saw it in our little manifesto we just showed you, the active and passive phenomena of awareness, assumption, attitude, attention, alignment, action, and allowing. We call them the 7 A's. And collectively, these determine our frequency.
Our vibratory rate. So that's a key piece of this puzzle we are presenting.
And again, go to the dictionary and look up the word love. It will not say the fundamental creative and unifying power of the universe, but this is what we mean by love with a capital L. It's actually a quantum physics phenomenon, the fundamental creative and unifying power of the universe.
And Jude Currivan, who is an important player in the breakthrough physics, is actually saying this, that it is the science of love now, that they're proving this. So it's very exciting to have all this supported, because we came up with this several years ago. Our book was published in 2012. And so it's exciting to have science come in and support what we're saying.
And finally, then, the universe. All that is, both manifest and unmanifest, also called God, Creator, Jehovah, Atman, Allah, the Force, the unified field, the great mystery, the quantum vacuum, and by many other names. We simply call it the conscious, loving universe.
So what we want to do is just run through our assumptions here. We're not going to spend a lot of time on them, but we're going to share those with you. The first assumption being, we live in a conscious, loving universe. There is only love. And this is from our ebook. And there's a quote there that you can't really read, that Andrew will read to you on this assumption.
All right, yes. Assumption 1, love is the primordial energy that creates and sustains the entire physical and non-physical universe. It is therefore related to the gluon described by contemporary quantum physics. The gluon is the subatomic power that holds everything together. Sounds a lot like love to us.
Yeah, so here is a little equation. God is love. Many people hear that, say that, but do we understand that absolutely, that God is love, God is everything? So what does that mean? Everything is love. Absolutely. Remember, these are things we're taking as absolutely true. There's no buts, there's no ifs, there's none of that stuff. It's just what is. And here's our second assumption. The universe loves us unconditionally. It gives us everything we ask for.
The greatest difference between the love of the universe and the kind of love we humans are accustomed to is this. The love of the universe is unconditional. It is critical to understand this.
And there are some that don't like this unconditional love, describing this divine love. So whatever words you want to use, unconditional for us is the fact that it loves us without condition. This just there. It's just what is. So however you want to sense into it, as divine love, as universal love, as spiritual love, whatever it is, just do what you feel is comfortable for you. So, what are our requests to this loving universe? That's the big question, but we've already answered it. Our requests are our consciousness. Our third assumption is we create reality by the power of our consciousness.
And here's a quote from this chapter of the ebook. The boundless diversity of existence is the ever-evolving consciousness of unconditional love coming to understand and experience itself and its unlimited potential for creative expression. This consciousness explores its expressive capability by creating powerful, visionary creatures such as ourselves, each with a gift and a purpose on our soul's journey to wholeness.
Yes, yes, yes. We are roving sensory organs of the divine. The divine is evolving through us. And we have such power as that aspect of the divine. And what are our requests? As we've said, and you've heard in our manifesto, our requests are our consciousness and these 7 A's of consciousness, these 7 aspects: awareness, assumption, attitude, attention, alignment, action, and allowing, which determine our vibratory rate. Okay, we have to understand that it's pure physics. It can be talked of as, okay, these are our requests to the loving universe. Okay, our awareness, our attention, where we put our attention, but it's pure physics. It's pure vibration. It's pure frequency, and whatever frequency we're in is what we experience. So here's our little quote.
So as I think you can tell, we would like you to have a little takeaway from this presentation, and it is in the form of what we call the 7 A's. So from this chapter, our awareness, assumptions, and attitudes, the choices as to where we place our attention, the degree of alignment with our inner guidance, and the committed actions we take, along with the degree of our trust in the loving universe, determine the frequency we inhabit, which in turn determines every aspect of the reality we experience. That's your takeaway.
That's a good takeaway. That's really well expressed. And we just hope that that you get to be able to really take this in. And we're going to give you a moment of contemplation in a few minutes. But here are the 7 A's. And in the sentence, so I'm just going to say that one more time. With expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams. So that's an invitation to paying attention to what creates our reality and what the universe wants for us. That's the kicker, is, okay, we want something, but guess what? The universe wants more for us than we can fathom. So just take that in. As far as goals and intentions and all that stuff, take it in that there's something that wants to happen that's beyond what we can fathom in a higher frequency. So here, this is a very important quote. I don't know how many of you have come across it in your travels in consciousness, but it came to me very early in my opening. And this is attributed to Goethe. but it was written by a Scottish mountaineer named W.H. Murray, and it's very important. And I'm going to read it to you. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. So that committed action piece, okay, that's what we're underscoring with this. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth that the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. But guess what? It's not providence moving. It's us moving into a higher frequency. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has magic, power, and genius in it. Begin it now. Okay, so that's a key piece of this, committed action. And here's one other very important quote from Henry David Thoreau in his conclusion to Walden. We speak at the Thoreau Society very often. Thoreau was a mystic, and he brought an important piece to this. Do you want to do Thoreau?
I can do
Since you
that.
often play Thoreau, we have
Yeah.
performance pieces, and he often plays Thoreau. So go for it.
Okay, so here's Henry. I learned this at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours.
See, that's the same as Goethe. No man could have dreamt would have come his way. A success unexpected in common hours.
He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him.
You see, so the laws are expanded.
Mm.
Isn't that beautiful? Old Henry, he got it, man. Okay. Oops. Oops, sorry. I don't know. Damn. Let's see. I've got to go back. Hopefully this will take it. Sorry, kids. I don't know how to get back. So here, maybe this one. There we are.
Or the old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense, and he will live with the license of a higher order of beings.
Yes, indeed. The old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense.
So the point is that in a higher frequency, the laws are different, and they're actually more liberal laws. They're more free and open and creative.
Yeah, and look at this guy. He's doing it.
He's leaping off a mountainside, it looks like.
So now we're going to have a little time of contemplation, just a minute.
So a really important part of how we learn is firstly to very often sit in a lecture hall or a university classroom or whatever it is and receive information. But then the next step is contemplation, actually to sit in silence and ponder what we have just heard. So we'd like each of you to join us now in just a few moments of silence and just let these words sink in. Let's take a break from all the presentation and go into a little contemplation. Here we go.
Okay. So I hope you had some time to take this in, because it's really a beautiful thing that we are all learning from science now and from indigenous peoples who know that this is so, that we are the conscious loving universe. And now we want to take you into the dance of souls, applying these, especially these first 4 assumptions, to our relationships with ourselves, our loved ones, our parents, the universe, our kids, the whole shooting match, our relationship. And it's primarily has to do with our journey to wholeness and self-love. So here we go.
And may I quickly mention that
Yes.
this is actually a course that is on Social Chrysalis. It's how we met these 2 beloved friends of ours here, who also have courses on the Social Chrysalis platform. And so this will give you an idea of what this, what do we call it? An online course.
An online course,
An
an
online
evergreen
course.
online course. And there's a
Right.
discount coupon that you'll be sent if you registered for this. And you can just email us if you want the discount coupon, if you're on Facebook Live. And yeah, and you can get to it on our Trust Frequency website as well. And you just go to Dance of Souls, and you can, then it'll take you into Social
That's on
Chrysalis,
trustfrequency.net.
thetrustfrequency.net.
Okay,
So
the
let's
Dance of
go.
Souls. Here we go.
Here we go. We'll give you a little video.
Hello, we would like to introduce you to our course, The Dance of Souls. I'm Andrew Cameron Bailey.
And I'm Connie Baxter Marlow. Do you have relationship patterns you would like to change? Would you like to take your understanding of the nature of relationships to another level and understand how they all serve us? I will lead you through a deep journey of self-discovery, healing, and transformation through a new understanding of the nature of love.
And I will enhance that journey with a series of meditations that will expand your awareness to places you may never have been before.
So join us. We'd love to have you with us on this amazing journey to self-love, self-acceptance, and understanding that we are so loved by a conscious universe.
And you will find that your life has been transformed on a personal level and on an interpersonal level. Your relationships will evolve, you will have evolved, and you might just find yourself feeling like, whoa, I'm a brand new person. How about that?
And in that process, you come to bring your true gift to the party of life, and that's you.
I like the sound of that. You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have this. What did, okay, I think I did. That's backwards.
Try that way.
Try this way. How about-
No, one.
This way.
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Here we are.
Reminder time.
Reminder, humanity.
Go to the dictionary and look up the word humanity. It will not say a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who have chosen to incarnate on earth to learn and grow on their soul's journey to wholeness, which is self-love, self-acceptance, each with an individual purpose and a unique gift.
So we're going to go into that a little more deeply, but take that in, and that's who we are, each of us. So another reminder, it's a conscious, loving universe. There is absolutely only love, free will, and the soul's journey to wholeness. If you keep that in mind as you proceed through relationships and life on a day-to-day basis, and just say, okay, I'm going there. There's only love. There's only free will. There's only the soul's journey to wholeness. And I chose to incarnate on earth on this journey to self-love and self-acceptance, and to bring my gift to the party of life, which is me. So here we are. This dance of souls is a deep exploration into conscious relationships. It's about becoming conscious and taking responsibility for our journey. So it's within this evolving understanding of the loving nature of the universe. And we see the purpose of the dance of souls for mirroring our light and our shadow on our journey to wholeness. Okay, so this is key. And in this dance, as we come and get conscious, we recognize the purpose of repeated challenging behaviors that have prevented us from seeing and experiencing fruitful learning experiences, because we're in the victim perpetrator model. Okay, we've been raised in poor pitiful me and this whole story of victim perpetrator, and it's time to move into that field that Rumi talked about, that field beyond right doing and wrong doing, which is a magical place once we can really get there. And this is bringing it home, kids. This is bringing it home to our relationships every day of the year. Okay. And we move from victim to beloved as we realize everything in our life happens for us, not to us. That's a big deal. There's only love. We take a step forward on the evolutionary upward spiral. Okay, so it's a big job we've got, but we're up for it now because it's time to get out of the old stories and the victim perpetrator. So we make the big flip.
From victim to beloved. How many of us have felt like a victim of circumstance, a victim of our community, our society, our parents? And in this process, we actually move. It's exactly the same, but we see it from a brand new perspective. And instead of being victims, we learn and realize that we are in fact beloved, no matter what it may look like. And that can be
the
challenging.
Big flip. And
Rewriting the story.
we're rewriting the story. It's time. So we understand that the overarching act of free will that we gave when we incarnated, this is key, the humanity description, okay, definition. We chose to incarnate. We gave permission to the loving universe to take us on this journey. Okay, it's a big deal. So this is the scary job our soul self is longing for, and our ego self is desperately afraid of. So we have to balance those two, our soul's journey, our soul's destiny, and our wonderful ego self that's gotten us this far. We have to love it. It's gotten us this far. We're still here. We've made it this far. That's what Andrew and I say all the time. We've made it this far. So it's not about demonizing our ego self, because we have to just know it's shown up for us and we survived. We've made it this far. So it's about honoring that ego self. But it's afraid of this, so just know it's going to fight tooth and nail when our soul self is like, okay, I'm ready to get conscious. And our ego self says,
Oh, yeah?
oh, yeah, that's what you think.
Mm.
So let's begin. Each soul creates the condition needed to become whole. All right. So
Our lives are our movie. We are the director, script writer, and lead actor. Others show up with scripts that we have written. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
What?
Yes,
Yeah.
indeedy. We're great script writers.
One of the reasons for that is we are not actually separate.
Yeah.
So as we get into the other assumptions a little later, we will learn that separation is a man-made illusion. So these other actors and people who show up in our lives, hi, you mean you're me in another form?
Yeah,
You're
I
a
came
mirror?
to show you your
Ooh,
shadow and your light.
I like
You
that.
beautiful,
Oh, I hate that.
handsome,
Oh, I
brilliant
like
man.
that. Oh, I hate that. I love it. Oh,
Oh, yeah. So
it's challenging.
we're
and it's
good.
wonderful.
We've been in this dance for 17 years. So let me tell you,
Mhm.
we've done it all.
Doing the dance.
Doing the dance. So we chose our parents and we've magnetized the behavior we need to take on the wounds we need to create our stories. So our soul is actually asking the other person to show us our shadow, show us what we came here for. So we're actually creating the situation we need, and we take it on because we're raised in the victim perpetrator model. We don't get it that, oh, thank you very much to that bully at school who's saying, hey, you're stupid. But guess what? That bully's telling me what I think about myself. When we get that and we say, okay, bully, thank you. Thank you so much. You just taught me something that I came on this planet to learn. And that is that I am so brilliant. I am a walking sensory organ of the divine. So thank you, bully. Want to come over and play? So it's a big deal.
Probably chase that poor bully away.
Yeah, the poor bully is going to say, but I came here to be a bully. I can't be nice.
I'm out of here.
I came to be a bully in my life walk. So we take on self-doubt. We hide it under a mask. Then this is our ego function. Okay. Our ego says, okay, I'll make you look like you're smart and you're beautiful and you're got it all together. I'll help you do that because our ego is our best friend, we think. So here, mirrors appear to show us what's under the mask. And we defend it tooth and nail with behaviors. We make them bad and wrong. We attack. We leave the relationship and feel horrible and poor, pitiful us. Okay. Instead of saying, oh, whoa, thank you very much. I guess I've got some stuff under that bright and cheery exterior. So I guess I've got work to do. And that's what we have to do now.
And
On
guess
the
what
planet.
happens if we leave the relationship? We repeat the
Yeah.
pattern again and again. So
Yep,
this whole
it
sort of
keeps
serial
happening.
monogamy thing that we tend to live in.
Yeah,
we keep
exactly. Just
bringing up
keep
that
at
same
it.
thing. Hey, you used to be so beautiful. Now you're scary.
So self-doubt equals our core issues. So then we can identify our core issues. When we get triggered, we can see that there's something lurking there in our subconscious that we can't see. So this mirror shows us what we can't see that's hidden in that subconscious. And when we see repeated behaviors, okay, through the generations, oh, my dad did that. Oh, and my husband did that. And now you're doing that. And I'm out of here. Well, guess what? No. The repeated behaviors and also triggers. Oh, hey, I'm triggered. I'm responding to your behavior. That shows me that I've got something in there. So repeated behaviors and triggers show us what's hidden in our subconscious. So how are you liking this dance of souls so far? Hidden self-doubts equals our shadow.
We bring in experiences to show us our light and our shadow so that we progress on our journey to self-love.
Yep. So our soul has magnetized these behaviors. So we make this big flip from blaming others to acknowledging our journey. Big deal, big flip. And I'll tell you, our ego self is like, no, thank you. Don't want to do that. I'm going to make him bad and wrong. So
We acknowledge the dance and we shift from anger to gratitude. I suspect that one of the most difficult things for anyone is actually to become sincerely grateful to our abusers. But if we kind of created them, if we attracted them, if we magnetized them into our lives for a purpose that will serve us, they deserve our gratitude. That's not a pleasant job. So this is not easy work, friends.
and
but
they
it is-
get to learn too. So it's a dance that's serving everybody. So it's as they came in to be the perpetrator, they learn, oh, what made me be that bully? What is it in me that is bullying to make myself bigger and stronger so that I feel okay about myself? So it's a beautiful dance. And we are freed from victim consciousness. What a liberation.
In the trust frequency, there's no such thing as a victim. What's up with that? There's no such thing as a perpetrator. What's up with that?
Yeah.
This is complex stuff. This
It's-
is not, we didn't learn this in high school.
And victim is a very powerful position to be in, and it serves us all the way to now. But we've got to just cleanse ourselves from this lower
It's a
frequency
very negative
paradigm.
power.
And we move from victim of circumstance to beneficiary,
Beneficiary of circumstance.
and the work begins.
Oh, I thought the work just began.
Now it becomes an inside
Oh,
job.
Okay.
So nobody can do it for us. We have to choose to be conscious and be understanding of what this relationship situation is all about. It's about us and our feelings of self-doubt, self-hatred, I'm stupid, I'm not enough,
Low self-esteem.
low self-esteem,
Yeah,
all those things.
yeah.
But it's not about conditioning. It's about the journey we came here to do. It's the job we came here to do. There's no shame, no blame. It's acceptance and love and understanding. And it's even beyond forgiveness. It's all about gratitude. So
It's time,
it's time
friends.
now, because the earth is moving into a higher frequency. It's time to face our shadow and bring it into the light and release it. The earth is transitioning into this higher frequency, and we have to do our work to keep up with her. So it's all free will. Are we going to do the work or aren't we? It's a yes and no kind of situation. Change your assumptions and the world changes with you. And here's a little something that a woman wrote. This will just bring it home to you and your heart. This woman wrote this back in February on the day that we were giving our first workshop on this. And I'm going to just read it to you. Feeling I have not been in right relationships over with many over these last few years, family, community, sisters and brothers, lack of communication, dropping off commitments, saying yes when it's a no, passive aggressive tendencies, projections, and much more. I am receiving this awareness in little bits and pieces, and that is that this way of being is mirroring my relationship with myself. I have been out of integrity with my needs, wants, and desires. I give up on myself when things get tough. I lose myself in what others think, highly influenced by environment and others' needs, wants, and desires. And I distract myself with what others are doing. This is one of my sacred wounds, not knowing or remembering what my divine mission is or how to express it in the world, and really allowing the feeling of fear to inhibit expressing my true essence. And I am shifting and repatterning this now. My deepest apologies if you have experienced this with me. I am committed to taking responsibility for my actions and inactions through reflection, integration, compassion, fierce expression, and deep self-love. Thank you for your love and care while I navigate this terrain of self-awareness, self-love, and being in coherence with my divine mission and sacred purpose. Together we rise, loving you and me and humanity. And this is Adara Love.
Who's a beloved sister of ours.
And she wrote this. She had no idea of
What a
our
vulnerable thing
course.
to-
And this is so expressive of everything we've been sharing with
Yeah.
you. So we're going to quickly run through our next assumptions, our other assumptions, and because we have 10 assumptions for a new paradigm.
So we'll just give you, and this will complete an overview of this work that we offer.
So the fifth assumption we've already discussed.
Free will is an absolute law of the universe. Do you want to do the quotes or not?
Yeah, Joe, you want to just read the quote quick?
I can do it here.
Okay.
No, I'll do it here. There it is. Each and every aspect of our lives is the direct result of the countless free will personal choices we have made. Even the most conformist of us has made a conscious choice to conform. In so doing, did we listen deeply to our own hearts, Did our parents or our teachers listen to us when we tried to tell them our truth? Probably not. At every step, we were presented with a choice. We made a decision for better or worse, based on our fundamental assumptions about the nature of existence and what we thought would be best for us and for those we cared about.
So yes, we've all made our choices and we have choices yet to make. So here's our sixth assumption. Circumstance guides us on our journey to wholeness. Circumstance loves us more than we do because we think we want to do this, that, and the other thing to be well-liked, to be smart, to do this, to be successful. And circumstance comes and says, guess what? You said you wanted to go on your journey to wholeness and bring your gift, which is you. So circumstance is like, okay, here it is.
Circumstance is our guide. The fact is, the loving universe is never wrong. There are no mistakes. Once we understand the central role of circumstance in our lives and pay attention to its unerring guidance, we will never again think of ourselves as victims of circumstance.
Yep. And here's our seventh assumption. There is only now, this precious present moment. And I just want to say to you, the now is the gateway to the trust frequency. So what's the quote, Andrew?
Slow down, stop everything, close your eyes, breathe deeply gently, and contemplate nothing but the now. Feel the air. Listen to the wind. Don't allow any thought of past or future or anything else to intervene. What do you see? What do you feel? What is going on right here and right now?
Yeah, be here now. There is only this precious present moment. And our eighth assumption, all of creation is one. Separation is a man-made illusion.
The Eastern mystics and the indigenous people base their worldview on unitive principles, as do most of the other indigenous peoples. It wasn't until Newton, Descartes, and Darwin that we Westerners fully separated, although we had many centuries previously bought into the idea of a separate God, a distant judge-like patriarch who lived in a faraway place called heaven. Then, during the Age of Reason, we took the radical dualist fork leading to the current paradigm of alienation, disconnected from the rest of creation.
So this is a key to our reality right now, this scientific paradigm of the separate universe, the dead universe, the mechanistic universe. So that's the perpetrator, in my opinion, of, well, we don't do perpetrator, but that is the root cause. That's it. It's the root cause of the dysfunction that we're experiencing now because we feel separate from the rest of creation and each other. So, ninth assumption, humanity is on an evolutionary upward spiral.
We have a choice to make. Do we trust what we have learned so far in this book? And if so, are we ready to participate in our own evolution and that of our species in the process that futurist Barbara Marx Hubbard calls conscious evolution? The fact of the matter is this: Homo sapiens is at the dawn of a great evolutionary leap, a great awakening leading inexorably to a higher, more conscious reality.
Yup. And our 10th assumption, the trust frequency is real, available to anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Once we understand the astonishing beauty of the conscious loving universe and our important place in it, we can attune ourselves to any frequency we choose. Once we fully understand and trust the wonderful fact that this higher reality is not only possible, but is the natural order of things, we transition into an enduring state of gratitude, love, and trust, ease and grace, which are our primary vehicles to heaven on earth.
Yes, heaven on earth. That's what we're bringing about now in this new frequency that's coming on earth as earth moves into this higher frequency, and the energies are going to allow us to align with our highest inner promptings and act from that place and create systems together from that place and bring heaven to earth. So what we want to close with is just this summation.
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 Summaration. I like
Summation.
summer. I like summer.
The old paradigm, the lower frequency paradigm of separation, of determinism, destruction, not love, the mechanistic universe, time-based universe, leads to a reality, and these are the prevailing core assumptions. It leads to a reality of conflict, the victim, powerless, anxiety, fear, and helplessness. Anybody recognize that reality? And then a new paradigm, a higher frequency of a conscious universe. It's all love. There's only free will. We're on an upward spiral. We're beyond the construct of time. And we understand the oneness and sacredness of all life. And that leads to a life of meaning where everything's okay and we're powerful and we trust, and there's infinite balance and infinite abundance. And it's a place of cooperation. So that's the paradigm that we hope you can take home with you and walk into this and walk in total trust of a conscious, loving universe.
And we can summarize it in 4 words: trust the loving universe. That's actually the only thing you have to do, is trust the loving universe.
And that's that, folks. We hope that you have learned something, taken something in, that it resonates to your innermost knowing, because from our perspective, it is who we are. And that veil is thinning, that veil that has separated us from that knowing. And it's thinning and thinning and thinning. And now we can walk it and bring it to pass in our lives and understand our relationships and know that we are loved by a conscious, loving universe.
Thank you, darling.
Yes, thank you, darling. So where should we go from here? Are there any questions or comments from
Anybody like
anybody?
to challenge these wild and crazy things we've been saying? Hello
Yeah,
there.
that was lovely. So anyone that wishes to raise their hand to where I promote them to be a panelist to come on and ask questions may do that. And or you can do that in the Q&A as well. But, you know, I just have to say that was phenomenal, guys. I loved everything that you said and how you guys interacted and, you know, shared the love frequency, the trust frequency for sure. I mean, it was phenomenal. I made a lot of good notes, and if no one else has any questions, I'm definitely gonna make some comments. But Rebecca also, and anyone raise their hand, please. Rebecca, you need to unmute yourself.
Well, sorry about that.
There
Yeah,
you are.
sorry. Thank you guys so much for just that lovely presentation. There are so many complex ideas that you put so simply that were just really easy to grasp. So you just said it in a way that I hadn't heard before. And I've done a lot of study on this. It just really resonated with me. I've read the whole book, The Trust Frequency, and I encourage anybody who's on the call that wants to get deeper into this to actually, purchase the book, The Trust Frequency, or get the free ebook, The Conscious Loving Universe. So anyway, I'd love to, open it up to any questions, again, on the Q&A, or just raise your hand and we'll pull you on to the screen.
Absolutely. And, as people are doing that, I loved, the 7 A's, amazing, wonderful, things to, if anything else, I love to put little things around as reminders, right, for myself. And that the 7 A's are perfect to keep around. It's like, oh yeah, right? The assumptions, the attitude, the action, the attention, allowing. I mean, it's all these little reminders that make such a difference to us. And I appreciate you guys laying those out like you did and explaining them. Phenomenal. And I love the fact that you, roving sensory organs of the divine. It's so right on.
Yeah.
So right on.
Yeah. And if people buy our book from us, we have handouts that we put in with the book. We sign it, and we have the 7 A's you can put on your fridge, and lots of extras in our book that we
And
send
how
out.
can they buy the book from you?
They go to thetrustfrequency.net, and we'd love it. It really supports us more to buy it from us than to buy it from Amazon. And if you do buy it from Amazon, please leave a review. That would be great. And do take our course, The Dance of Souls, because it goes deeper into this and gives exercises and these meditations of Andrew's. So you can go to socialchrysalis.com, the dance of souls, hyphenated, or you can go to the trustfrequency.net, the Dance of Souls, and it'll take you there. So
What about the discount coupon?
yeah, and the discount coupon we'll be sending out with a follow-up email to anybody who registered for this, but also we will get it to you if you send us an email, trust@thetrustfrequency.net. We'll send you the discount coupon for the course.
And don't forget, the Conscious Loving Universe ebook is free,
yeah,
and it's pretty deep in its own right.
yeah,
And we just wanted that. That was actually our Christmas gift to everybody at the end of 2020. And we just said, you know what? Still your Christmas gift. Didn't get it yet? We'll get it to you.
yeah.
And that's easy. How do you get that?
You go to the trustfrequency.net and CLU-ebook, or you just choose it in the menu. There's lots of stuff you can choose in the menu on the trustfrequency.net.
And when they do and start resonating higher frequency, the laws expand for them, like they said, and their whole reality starts changing, right?
That's right.
Totally. I want to tell you, we live it. We've been living it a long time. And it takes some doing, but you got to live it. You've got to
trust.
walk it.
You've really got to be in that trust. It's a vibration. And within that field, the laws are different. The rules are different. It works differently from what did the Thoreau quote, in common hours, unexpected in common hours. It's just a different reality.
Yep.
Exactly. And then you could look at the fact that you are a beneficiary of your circumstance, right? Versus a victim of it, right?
Yep.
You know,
Totally. It's a big deal. And it goes so far as understanding the things that we see as not love, all those horrible things that we see as not love, have in this construct have to be love. So when one asks the question, how does this serve the coming of peace on earth? How does this serve my soul's journey? See, we don't know another soul's journey. So we have to say, okay, I mean, if we just take this construct as absolutely true, it has to be love, war, murder, even murder. Okay. I mean, we have to go that far to say, okay,
Even that.
if someone came on this planet to die by murder, someone has to murder it. Okay. That soul is going to ask for that murderer. It's huge. And some people say, forget it. I'm not going there. Can't go there. Even Andrew sometimes is like, excuse me, I'm not going there. But guess what? If you just take this construct, you got to say, all right, somehow this is love. We're in that field that Rumi talks about, where the words just aren't even words to express it. It's beyond good and evil, right and wrong. It's a very big deal, but we got to get there, because otherwise our vibration is still low in the lower frequency. Because we're judging others. We're saying, you're right, you're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. We can't be there. We got to say, all right, okay, this is love. I'll go there and I'll walk into total trust, because guess what? I know it's a conscious, loving, abundant universe. We didn't come here to work to survive. We made that up. The time is money thing, we made that up. And all these systems that we've built, this debt-based economy that's killing us, all that, we just walk out of it into another reality. So I wish you all the best, everybody.
And you know, these challenging things, such as to say that a murder is love. Well, if the universe is composed of love and there's nothing but love in the entire universe, it can't be anything other than love. So how do we get a grip on that? Because our judgmental left brain looks at that, or our emotions look at that, and we say, no way, that doesn't work, until we remember that we are spirit beings, that we came from the spirit world, and we're here having a human experience on this planet, in this reality. And if I get murdered, what happens to me? Do I die? Well, I disappear from this reality, but where am I? I go through the veil and I'm back where I started, having learned whatever I've gained from that experience. Many of my experiences are beautiful and loving and tender and adoring and on, and some of them are not like that. So,
But
if
that's a
we-
big deal.
So
Yeah.
if we
Beautiful.
really,
So I have a couple people's hands raised. So I want to
Okay,
have
sure.
them come in. I got Tom and Eugene. So we'll start with Tom here. Tom, we're going to allow you to talk and even bring you in a panelist if you like.
We
oh,
know
there's Tom, yeah.
Do we know
Oh,
him?
here you go, Tom. Your mic should be on.
Okay, great.
We'd love to
I
see.
enjoyed your presentation. Yeah, you put so much thought and so much work into figuring out how low.
Well, yeah, it's been a journey.
Panelist, so you might have cut them off here a little bit until that happens.
Okay, let's get
that.
Tom in here because we know Tom. We want to say hello to Tom. I'm glad
Oh,
to.
wow.
Yes.
That cut them off somehow. So we're going to allow Eugene to come in. There's Tom, finally.
And we know Tom is a great thinker himself, so we have we're
Yeah.
complimented, we're honored.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, thanks. Yes, I was thinking of a couple things that might be interesting to look at is how we've evolved and how our evolution of our brain restricts our ability to make those leaps into the oneness that we are, as well as our separateness. Because our first brain is our reptilian brain that sees material reality and everything is separate, and the reptile is separate. And then our mammalian brain came along and said, well, there's a capacity to have relationships as well as separateness. And we as humans have the privilege to evolve beyond that in our consciousness to where we can actually go those places that you're talking about. But since it's wired in our brain neurologically, my thought is we need to not just be in love, but we need to embrace kind of Welber's contention. We need to transcend and include that separateness that we are, and loving our separateness as ourself. We need to love those that are immediately in our herd. And then we need to ultimately learn to love all the planet, all the animals and plants, as well as the whole evolutionary process, and then the non-dual oneness of everything. And so it's a layer cake of being able to see all that we are and integrate that into our highest level of functioning.
Yeah, it's a process for sure, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's not what you're saying. It's a process. And we've been in this process for a long time, right? I mean, like how long has humanity been on the planet? To me, that's what it's been all about, is that
Mhm.
that process of integration and taking those steps into. And I also think it's a veil. I see it as a veil that's between us and our true nature and the true nature of the universe, that we used to have to do ceremony. We used to have to go sit in a cave and drink water for months on end or whatever. And now that veil is thinning, so we're accessing it more and more with these near-death experiences, people saying, hey, guess what? And it's just as that veil thins, we access more. So I think it's
Yeah, and I'd like to address Tom's
yeah.
perspective a little there too, Tom, because yes, I totally agree with you in terms of those layered, the reptilian brain, the mammalian brain, and all of that. And yet the reality that we exist within is the reality of what we call the conscious loving universe, which is composed entirely of an energy that we are choosing to call love. It's not the everyday human, I love this girl here type of love. It is the quantum energy that is sustaining and creating everything of this marvelous holographic illusion of which we are a part. So once we know and trust that we're part of this extraordinary phenomenon, that actually it's an illusion that I'm in this body, and there's Rebecca in her beautiful body, and here's Connie, and here's Tom, and here's Robert. And yet on a certain, the highest level, that's just an illusion, because we're just this electromagnetic vibrating phenomenon that's ever evolving, and it's literally only consciousness manifesting into these different forms. So I think if we go back to the ancient Vedic understandings and we go forward into the current evolving unified physics understandings, we understand that. And then once we grok that, once we get it, and we can really trust it, then we can let go. I don't even have to, I can dump that thing called that reptilian brain. Don't need it anymore. We know we don't need it, but sometimes we think this fight or flight thing, we're dominated by it. Not necessarily. If we are in a state of such trust that it doesn't even matter if we were just talking about dying by murder. It doesn't matter. Humanity on this planet, it's a temporary, temporal phenomenon. Doesn't matter. The universe is countless billions of years old, and we're this passing phenomenon from one perspective. It's wonderful, it's important, and yet in the big picture, does it matter? I don't know. To be attached desperately to something. So point being, if we just trust the process of this ever evolving, ever unfolding thing of which we're an inextricable part, what a phenomenon that is, what a privilege, how much fun.
Yes, it brings up the idea that there's three different levels of who we are in our material world of ourself and our separateness. We're mortal and we're going to die. But our consciousness, our energy and information, the frequencies we're putting out remain here. And so we're immortal on that quantum level. And ultimately, like you're saying, both the material and the quantum come from this oneness, this bigger process of love. And so it embraces those other two. But we can have more courage to get to those higher levels if we don't identify so much with that mortal level that our brain is wired naturally to do. And so I want to explore further with you how to make those leaps into being free of what we're evolutionarily grounded in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my feeling is that trust plays such a huge role. It's related to the religious thing that we call faith. If you have faith, that kind of faith that the saints had in God, even while they were being crucified, or whatever. So many of the Sufis, for example, underwent horrific deaths and yet stayed in that oneness with Allah as these things happened to them. You know, that's beyond the beyond. But those people absolutely trusted, and now they're our saints of our ancestors. Wow. So trust, it's just so huge. And it simplifies so much else. The complexity of life just kind of dissolves because we're not worried. We're not creating, worry actually creates negative things in our life, creates obstacles. So it's amazing.
Wow. Thank you, Tom. And we're going to go ahead and allow Eugene to come in and speak as well, and then start wrapping things up.
All right.
You're starting to come in, and I'm gonna, move. There we go.
Fun talking to you, Tom.
Yeah, Tom, we should catch up. And we will.
So hopefully Eugene's coming here. So Eugene coming.
Yeah. Yeah, we're working on it.
All right, Eugene.
Hi, Eugene.
Yeah, hello. Thank you so much. You know, there's a tiny little vial of saffron, and I have a message for Tom here. I won't be too long, but if anyone, I'm sorry, maybe you can't see it, but there's a butterfly on the cap. You know, the butterfly behind you, right? And the butterfly on the cap and saffron filled. I'm going to share some things because I don't come out much, as they say, a hermit or prophet or saint or sage or whatever, all the different types of labels that have been put upon me, which I've chose to reject. So for Tom, who wants to go beyond the beyond, if you will just breathe for yourself very simply. On the in-breath, I am not this body. And on the exhalation, I am not even this mind. In 90 days, you'll experience something that will take you beyond your current state of thinkingness. So that is for you, sir. And for Mr. Novak, I've tried to contact you in different formats and have not been fortunate enough until today. So if it's possible, I'm also local. It would be very interesting if we meet, I believe. In my pen name, it is known as Uriel. So Rebecca, you've spoke with me and introduced me to someone to lend some assistance in my private affairs. Thank you very much, and I'm grateful. And so now I think I've addressed everyone. And if the dance of the soul is known as also dancing with the divine, it will burn your mind blind where I no longer exist. I can't take any credit for anything. This is a temporal play, as we all know. And it only has taken 34 million years for us, each and every one of us, to become a human. And as the Buddha said, and I have done as the Buddha suggested, I did not listen to what he said. He said, don't believe a word I say, find out for yourself. But then you won't be very functional in this day-to-day mechanical world because the rest of the world can't understand you and you don't fit in with the average common layperson any longer because it's no longer understandable. It doesn't fit. The mind is how you used to think of yourself to be has disappeared and is gone. But that doesn't make me special. We're all special. And to that divine being, I bow to all of us because we all come from the same source. God bless you all. Thank you. It's truly humbling to be here, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Eugene.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Eugene, for sharing and coming forth. We're honored. Thank you.
So Connie and Andrew, thank you for joining us. If there's anything else you'd like to say in closing, and of course, Rebecca as well, let's do that.
All we have to say is
Trust
the loving universe.
4 words. All you need to remember of all of these words that went by tonight.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank you, guys. I'm so honored to have you.
Yes.
Well, what a treat.
And then we should have this on the Raising the Vibe website soon. We put our speakers on the front page of the website. So that will be up soon. And I know that all of the attendees will get the recording of this. And please consider purchasing the Dance of Souls to really get much more detailed information of some of the wonderful things that they were sharing. Again, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you for
Rebecca.
having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Robert.
technical assistance, Robert, and your insights and
Beautiful. And it
your
was
kind
great to see
honoring of
Tom.
us.
Wonderful to see Tom. What a wondrous surprise. I love that man. And Eugene, I did not know about, and what a blessing. So yes,
Yay.
thanks everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. And everyone, again, Social Chrysalis Roundtables are the third Wednesday of every month. So coming up February 17th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific is Living Creatively from the Inside Out, the Transformational Power of Spiritual Practices in Uncertain Times. So please join us, and that will be wonderful. But again, thank you so much, Connie and Andrew, for enlightening us. And Rebecca, thank you for inviting us for this joint event with Raising the Vibe. All right, love to everyone, and so grateful for being able to share this time together. And let's go ahead and bring in more trust and love.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. That's wonderful.
Bye.